Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent. Ed currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world's famous juggler, Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing well. I wanted to ease everyone's concerns this week and bring the jersey back. I know everyone was a little nervous how it went, and even got the King Koopa jersey, or the
Excellent.
Koopa Kings, as this jersey is called. Not only because I'm excited to go see Mario soon, but for our wonderful
You
film
still
today.
haven't?
I haven't. No, I had to go into work that day that I planned to go see it. So
I don't even have a watch on, but still.
I know. How are you doing, Ozzy?
I'm doing well now. Had some trouble earlier in the day, but I'm glad I got rid of it and very excited to talk about this film today. Also with us, Flesh Wound producer Todd. How you doing, Todd? Chilling?
Yeah, chilling. Glad you figured out a green screen.
Okay, you know what? Don't come at me because I got all riled up, and I forgot to put on a green screen, and you just started with still seeing green on my screen. So let's chill out. All right.
I could have fixed that in post.
I digress. That's not what people are here for. People today are here for Heroes Talk About and review King Ralph, which was released on February 15th, 1991, rated PG with a runtime of 97 minutes. Todd, do you have a trailer available?
I do.
Unlike my green screen.
The rain appears to have stopped, Your Majesty. We shall be able to continue with the portrait.
So I should hope, Albert. First time we've had the whole family together here for 6 years.
Right, we're ready now, everybody. Now, after 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, dear.
Now, a new king must be found.
Excuse me, Sir Cedric.
Yes?
I do believe we found an heir.
Is he everything we might have hoped?
Allow me to introduce our sovereign lord, Ralph Jones, King of Great Britain, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith.
John Goodman
Is everybody having a good time?
is King Ralph.
Where did they find this man?
John Goodman. Peter O'Toole. He's uncouth. He's unkempt. He's the king. King Ralph.
And that was the trailer for King Ralph, again, rated PG with a runtime of 97 minutes. Screenplay, David S. Ward, and directed by David S. Ward as well. This was actually based on a 1980 novel titled Headlong, written by Emmeline Williams, where it is definitely not a comedic story. So the film is loosely based on it, where the royal family actually perished due to something similar to the Hindenburg disaster. So not exactly what you saw in the trailer. So they mixed it up a little bit to make it funny, and I'm glad they did.
I still would have left.
This film was starring John Goodman and Peter O'Toole, also starring John Hurt and Camille Codry, as mentioned, based on the novel Headlong. Initial thoughts on this one here, a bit of a confession to make. It was back in 1992 when this film had hit VHS, and my sister had required me, or actually requested me, to pick it up on our trip to the video town, right? I always got a wrestling video, so that was always my one. Mm-hmm. But then she had wanted this, and my mom said we're only getting 2. So I went ahead and got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze instead of King Ralph. And I got in trouble. So the next week I didn't have any choice of video.
Good.
So,
That's what you get.
Yeah, I know. I was young. I was 8 years old.
If you would have
I
picked
apologize.
3, you might have got banned from picking movies.
That's a fair point. Initial thoughts on this, Greg?
this was a movie that I had seen quite some time ago, but it's been a long time, long enough for me to not remember most of it, which is always fun. But I do remember it being a good time, and my wife is huge into the British monarchy, and loves all the stuff going on. I can't tell you how many times we've watched that Queen's coronation, but so kind of watching this and comparing, how things are these days, compared to what they probably were like when this film was first done, such as the not being able to marry outside of, royalty. There's been some exceptions these days. So it was definitely fun. Yeah, right. But yeah, I was really excited to get back into this because, I mean, you can't go wrong with John Goodman. Like, he's always a good time.
Todd?
I saw this in theaters way back in 1991. I really enjoyed it at the time.
Now, was that you clearing your throat, or was that like you being pained by knowing that you saw this in theaters back then?
No. I think I'm a little bit more pained now. Like watching the trailer, I groaned a couple times. But when I rewatched it, it's very 90s. I think it's dumb, but it's dumb in that fun way. I mean, there's nothing highbrow about this film. It's just dumb fun. And sometimes you just want to turn your brain off and have a good time and watch John Goodman for 90 minutes. So,
yeah, to that point, I have a difficult time turning my brain off, even with watching some comedies.
I know you do, Ozzy.
When it comes to
Private School comes to mind.
Okay, that's not even fun. All right, moving
Once Bitten.
Okay, all right.
Lost Skeleton of
Cadaver. Okay, don't even. Can we stop now,
Okay,
please?
How many months away are we?
Oh, listen, we're not
6
talking
months
about
away
that today.
Here
we're
we go.
We're talking about this film here. So there's individuals like John Goodman. Tom Hanks also comes to mind, where you can just completely just like, I don't care. Tell me a good story. And that's the thing. It was like a good, feel good story at the end. Like you kind of got like a warm, fuzzy feeling at the end. And I think Todd hates that. So could be it. I'm not too sure about that. But getting into the favorite moments here, I remember specifically seeing this in the commercials, but as a kid, but seeing it now, this was my first time ever watching it, seeing it now, and how the scene was somewhat extended by a few seconds really added to it. The knighting ceremony, taking the blade, nicking the ear. Funny thing about that is seeing it in the commercial, it was like a brief, like half a second. But in the actual movie, when you actually see the blood there, and then I'm actually, putting it, just adds a little more to it, I guess. And that also happened during a music montage as well, which also
Did you say this was your first time watching this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I did not end up getting it, when
I figured next week you guys would have got it.
No, they did, but in spite, I chose not to watch it. That was my protest of not getting a choice of video for the week.
It's all right. I never went on the rocket rides or Honey, I Blew Up the Audience for the same reason. So I understand.
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
I wouldn't go on those rides because I was mad they got rid of People Mover and Captain EO at Disneyland.
Okay, so you didn't go on the new rockets.
Nope.
You went on the old rockets, though.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
okay,
no, I went on the People Mover.
But you never went on the old rockets?
No, the rocket rods, not the other rockets.
Oh, I thought you were talking about yeah.
The rocket.
Never went on the rocket rods. I thought you were talking about the rockets.
No,
because you say Tomorrowland and yeah, you lost me there. Although, Honey, I Blew Up the Audience. You weren't really missing anything there. Stupid giant snake for no reason.
Oh, it must have been a logic issue. He couldn't have. 8-year-old.
No,
okay,
like, yeah.
No.
So it's so the kid has a pet snake, sure, but does he have to have a pet snake that he brings with him to TV? Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Unnecessary.
Thank you. So, okay, I had mentioned the knighting ceremony. Greg, favorite moment here?
Oh gosh, there's a couple of them that were a little tough to choose between. I was hoping you were going to take one of them, but there was a moment where John Goodman's asked how things were going with a princess, and he goes, "She's got a voice like a tuba." That one just got me. He listed a few things, but just that one phrase, that one line, like that set me off pretty good. And and because it's John Goodman saying it too, it added that much more to it.
Todd?
I had a hard time, but just to keep it on brand, I'm going to go the strip club scene.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, hilarious. Now, I will say, I kind of felt this is one of those movies where I felt my enjoyment split. Whereas, I mean, I guess I should phrase it as there's movies where I've said, I find it this as a comedy ranked this, but I'd rank it this as just a movie on its own. And it's just own like its own story. I'd probably, and like how I felt coming out of it, probably a 4. But if I had to rate it as a comedy, strictly as a comedy, I would say 3.
Yeah. So at first, like going through it, I'm right there with you as a comedy, a 3. And I was like, oh, I'll give it a little credit, 3.5 for the movie. It's been fun. It's been a good time. But just so gonna have, I think we're well past spoiler zones that we need to worry about. But it's the ending for this. There were moments in which almost all these stories and where you have this guy who's like outside of a certain like field or job or whatever the case may be, and because of some unforeseen circumstances get brought in, normally
type stuff.
Yeah, so like he normally gets brought in and everything works out great in the end. And it didn't. Like, sure, certain things did, but not everything. And he was like, here you go. Like, and handed things off because he was like, I'm not right for this job. And you don't get that. And so because of the fun of the movie and because it had a unique like ending that fit and was a little bit more down to earth than what we fantasize in some of these moments. I'm gonna bump that up to at least a 4.
All right. Well, I'm across the board 3. I do think it's worth a watch. Either of you see that animated Pinky and the Brain take? I think it was. I know it was requested, and this is when this came up. There was that animated take. I want to say it was definitely Warner Brothers animation. Look, I think it was Pinky and the Brain, and it was a take on this story on King Ralph.
I must have missed that or didn't catch it at the time. Do you remember how long ago it was?
Oh, it was within the last couple of years. It probably came up. I know that might have been where this request originated.
Okay. I do recall that this was a request. So if the individual who requested this happened to have watched that Animaniacs or Pinky and the Brain reference, Beak would be so kind to write down in the comments, let us know where exactly it was seen or around bits, like just the title of the episode.
No, it's an actual like movie.
Movie?
The animated movie, yeah.
Well, now I'm really puzzled.
I know. Well, it was Ben Grimm. I'm sure he'll remember.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. So I always like to have some sort of question asked. It would be in some sort of relation to what we watched. So if you had the choice to be a king of any nation, what nation would that be?
Oh,
or I'll say president, just because you're essentially the leader of the nation. But at the same time, the king didn't have any, he didn't really have any political say. He just made the country look good. So I'll actually stick with king. So not involving democracies, based on what you know of kingdoms. And I'll you can go back in time if you want.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's Ozzy, do you have one that you know already? Or?
Oh yeah, totally. I just need to confirm one thing. The Okay, yeah. I would be King Louis the 15th
Okay.
Why?
Well, and why?
because that's the peak. That's because after that, Louis the 16th was no more. Louis the 15th, he was the one you wanted to be. Because that was the peak of everything, right?
Right.
So that was just my instinctive go-to. I mean, if I had to pick something current day, I'd definitely want something like King of Luxembourg or something. Some like small, random nation where you can't cause too much damage, just in case you mess up something. I don't know. Like I wouldn't be King of England, obviously, of the reasons we just cited, but like,
Obviously, I'm going to be King Booker. So,
oh boy.
I mean,
Greg, are you going to be Ray Zelinsky, the auto parts king?
it's not a bad one.
that's a good one. That's a good
Can
one.
can I change my mind to be the plow king?
Hey.
Only
Oh,
if I get to
man.
be Mr. Plow. I don't know.
You know, man, I really think like just taking over during like taking Queen Elizabeth's no, I'm just gonna go like I don't know how far back, but just be like a king during medieval times. Just because if I could take my juggling skills
Why do you want to
back,
go to Buena Park?
yeah, right. Just like if I could take the juggling skills I have now, I'd take all my free time and be like, I challenge all jesters to a duel. And if not, give me whatever. And like I would wipe the floor with the type of juggling there was back in that time. So yeah. Although then I'd probably be burned at the stake and thought I was a witch or something. So, there's pros and cons.
Fair point. No man can do what he does. He must be using magic.
Yeah.
Then it could, I mean, just in case, but because you're a man and not a female, would they then idolize you instead of patronize you?
It's probable. It's probable. Yeah, I'll take those chances.
Because, I mean, they didn't burn Merlin.
That's true. That's true. Like, I would be down to like hang out with Merlin. So
Okay, so King Arthur
yeah.
then.
Yeah, I'd be King Arthur. I'm down
There
with
you
that.
go. Yeah. Todd,
King of Camelot.
Did you end
What?
up going with one? I can't
Huh?
recall. Todd.
Yeah, I said King Booker. I don't have an answer.
You know, Hawaii was a monarchy for 80 years.
That is true.
Okay, so that was the review of King Ralph. As of this time recording, that being April 16th, 2023, King Ralph can be found on, if I could type that quickly.
Nothing at the moment, but it's available for purchase.
Yeah, I could just tell you King Ray because of my fat thumbs. Okay, thank you, Todd. But is available for purchase if you'd like to check that out. And we all recommend you should. Now, just a bit of quick notes. Just another announcement. I realized I had forgot to remind everybody, but I'll try to keep this in the comments at least. But I will be hosting trivia Monday through Thursday this week. By the time this episode's released, one night would have already gone, that being at the Lake Forest at Rush Bar and Grill. That is every Monday at 6:30 in Lake Forest. The second on Tuesday at the Brewery in Placentia, which is every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And every Wednesday at Los Alamitos and Griffin's Grill beginning at 7:30. And lastly, in Anaheim at the Honey Pot Meadery beginning at 7:30. And just a quick note, if you do happen to head to the Griffin's Grill location in Los Alamitos, there might be a sports game on, and I won't have my my path to music, so to speak, for lack of a better term, for my wacky and weird songs and offer $25 to the individual that can correctly guess why I picked the final song for the final answer. However, all the other nights, all good. They might be more than 2 degrees, but hey, it'll be unique nonetheless. You guys have anything else you want to say before we head out for the week?
I just think it's great that you don't think that you don't question the intelligence of your patrons by allowing more than one step. I mean, that would just be too easy, so it's wonderful, and I appreciate the effort you put into that.
Thank you. Todd?
I got to agree with Greg.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, be sure to tune in next week because barring some sort of miracle where, we have to record this. I don't think it is, but this has been one that I've
Now
been
there's
looking
going
forward
to
to a
be.
lot. What do you mean? Oh, right. But this has been one I've been looking forward to a lot. So very excited to review this, discuss this. I even need more time with it, to be honest, because we're going to record that tonight. But I asked if we could postpone it just for some more time so I could get some more information on it. That being Police Academy, the 1984 classic, which I almost fell in love with. So more on that next week. Be sure to tune in. And when it comes to the sequels, I'll say to be determined. But at least the first one for sure we will be reviewing and discussing next week. So be sure to check us out for that. So for world's famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, I'm Ozzy V. And we'll see you next week right here on Flesh Wound Farce.